Okay, MMA tribe, friends, and family, welcome back. Hey, I want to talk to you today on the Blackbelt Mindset, on the Mastermind, and on the Blackbelt Mastermind. And by the way, tonight I will be hosting our first Blackbelt Mindset Mastermind of 2023. This is all of my elite training course members, the 11 of them. I still got one slot open for that, by the way. But anyway, they will be on that mastermind with me. And then you are invited for this first one as well. We would love for you to come and partake with us and figure out and find out what this is all about. So first I want to talk about what I mean when I talk about Black Belt Mindset, right? Because it's something that we talk about a lot. And in fact, Sensei Thomas told me, he was talking about it on the floor yesterday when I told him that it's what I'm going to make our weekly lesson of the week about. And what I want to do is share with you here today a little bit about what we mean when we talk about Black Belt Mindset. So here's a few things. First of all, of course, the things that I write about in my book, Developing Your Superpowers, right? What we call the Black Belt Superpowers, of course, they're part of the Black Belt Mindset. And we're talking about focus and respect and discipline and confidence and gratitude and vision. But when we talk about the Black Belt Mindset, we mean a lot of other things as well. And I'm gonna just throw out a couple, three, maybe a handful of the other ones here today too. The first one is this: a Black Belt Mindset is about never quit. It's about not, can I do this, but how will I do this? It never considers quitting. And in fact, we even believe that you never fail until you quit, right? You try and you persevere. So perseverance and grit and stick-to-itiveness and whatever it takes, I will until. These are all parts of the Black Belt Mindset. Another piece of the Black Belt Mindset is that we understand that it's a continual process, right? We have one of our Black Belt leadership principles that's constant and never-ending improvement. And there's a lot of parts of that, right? There's the part of L cubed, you have to be a lifelong learner. There's the part of Perry, plan, act, review, improve, where we actually live an evaluated life so that we can be in a process of constant and never-ending improvement. There's the part that takes critique well. That's actually what Sensei Thomas and I were talking about this morning, that hey, there's a balance when we work with the students about, on the one hand, you want to do it in a positive and empowering way so that the students know that we care about them and believe in them and that they can succeed, right? But at the same time, and this is something we were talking about, and that we have to train junior instructors. You're never helping somebody to walk by them and not give some critique, not give them something to help make them better. The most important part of that equation of the Black Belt Mindset is that you have to be ready to receive it. You have to be the type of person that is open to critique, because you realize that it's not criticism. It's something to help us on that quest for constant and never-ending improvement. Another element of our Black Belt Mindset is another Black Belt leadership principle, which is that life is 10% what happens to us and 90% how we react to what happens to us. So rather we're talking about a real-world self-defense situation or a pandemic or an economic situation or a health situation or any other situation. The part of our mission statement at Krav Maga Martial Arts that says prepare to live, this is what it's talking about. Prepare to live means to prepare students to survive and thrive in any situation. And then the second part of the mission is to empower to lead. All of these are important principles about a Black Belt Mindset. And by the way, the last one I'm gonna mention today, because there's many more. I could talk a long time on this. But the last one I'm gonna mention today ties to the Mastermind principle. Because the last one is that the Black Belt Mindset is also totally open to the training and the development and the interaction and the stimulus that will create the next training evolution that will help us to become the best and highest version of ourselves. And this is very closely related to Napoleon Hill's Mastermind principle. I first learned, of course, about the Mastermind principle when I read Think and Grow Rich, many years ago, may have been decades at this point. Still thinking and still growing. But the Mastermind principle is powerful, right? And the Mastermind principle basically says that, when you get a few minds together that are focused on a common cause, right? That the minds, the synergy of minds creates a new and stronger mind than any of the individuals. This morning, in preparing for this, I actually pulled up an article from the Napoleon Hill Foundation that I want to share a little piece of, if I can get the thing to open back up. Here we go. So this is from the Napoleon Hill Foundation. The author is Nathan Johnson, but he starts by quoting Napoleon Hill, where, where Napoleon said, "No mind is complete by itself. It needs contact and association with other minds to grow and expand." And then Mr. Johnson goes on to explain that he says, the proper use of a mastermind group is the cornerstone to all great achievements and is one of the steps that people most often overlook. On our own, we can only ever have a limited amount of experience. A mastermind group allows us to draw freely from the experience, training, skills, and knowledge of others who align with our definite major purpose. The resulting benefits include a magnification of the combined qualities of each member, as well as increased courage, faith, and a host of other positive advantages. In other words, on your own, you're a single brush stroke. But in a mastermind group, you could become a Monet. So, and then he says the first thing you need to do to put the power of the mastermind to work is to create one. Listen, at this point in my life, I have had the honor and privilege of being a part of many great masterminds. I still am. And of being the leader of a few. And this one I'm very, very excited about, because as I started this meeting out with, the people that I have in my elite training course are an amazing group of minds. You know, I have some doctors and some very successful business people and just a lot of really smart people in the group. And I'm very excited about what we're going to produce together. If you're curious about any of this and you want to join us, it's going to start tonight at 7 p.m. And all you have to do is PM me or make a message or send an email, do whatever, wherever you see this, to contact me and let me know you're interested. And I will send you that special link so that you can join us tonight. All right. And if not, we will see you back very, very soon. Make it a super fantastic Wednesday. You know, to lesser folk, they call it hump day. To us, it's just another opportunity to excel. Prepare to live, empower to lead. See you again soon.